What's up, Ignite? My name's Brian Devereaux, and I'm the leader of Ignite, which is the youth group here at Lexington Church of Christ. And the reason we're called Ignite is because we believe that Christ is a fire in our hearts. And we believe he's a fire that is shut up in our bones. And we are dedicated to igniting that fire all throughout Lexington. I hope the following video encourages your faith, equips you for the day, and it empowers you to be more like Christ. Watch this video.
Where do you live? Is it in the neighborhood you grew up in? Is it way out in the country? Is it a place you just moved? Is it an apartment? Have you even asked yourself recently, where do I live? This question is big. It defines part of who we are. Home, sweet home. Well, we care where you live. It is important to us.
You know, most of us never think about where we live. You know, the only time that we think about where we live is when we have company coming over, and we usually think about what makes up the house, right? We think about if the walls are painted well, if the carpet looks good, if it's cleaned up, if it's filled with the right things, you know, what our TV and what our entertainment is like, what the food is like. We're worried about the yard and the outside, and we're worried about all these things. And the funny thing about it is there's only one time that Jesus specifically talks about where we live. He uses an analogy about building a house. And it's at the end of his most famous sermon. It's called the Sermon on the Mount in Matthew chapter 5 through 7. And it's at the very end in verses 24 through 27 where Jesus says the most important thing about where you live. And if you take one thing away from this video, the most important about where you live is that Jesus says where your foundation is built. Maybe y'all recognize that I'm on a construction site, right? And these houses aren't built yet. But what they're doing in laying the foundation is they're making the most important decision for these houses. They're making the most important decision about where these folks that move into these homes are going to live. They're deciding where to put their foundation. And Jesus compares where we live and where we pour the foundation of where we live to listening to his words, to hearing his words and putting them into practice. It is my hope and it is my prayer that you'll take a couple minutes this week and just reflect on that. Where's your foundation? Where do you live and where have you built where you live? And my hope and my prayer is that you put your foundation on Christ. And if it already is there, then you would keep it there. And I'll see y'all next week.